So we're working through the review sheet that's going to help you get ready for the test, which is tomorrow, relatively speaking, even though in this case, since it's Friday, that'll be Monday. I hope you remember that only certain matrices multiply. This one's a 2 by 2 and a 2 by 2. Do you remember that deal where if they weren't just square matrices, these two tell you if it will multiply, and these two tell you what the answer will be. When it's a 2 by 2 and a 2 by 2, it's kind of boring because you know it'll work and you know the answer is a 2 by 2. But when it's like this, you're going to be more challenged to think through, like, would that even multiply? Okay, so right now, we know what multiplies. We know the answer is a 2 by 2, so I would make eggs where I'd put each little thing. And that right there would be row what and column what. Now, some of you are thinking, I'm just going to use the calculator. You aren't. Even though the calculators would be allowed, what stops this from working? Variables. You can't stick an X in the calculator. So, you got to know how this like way to do it. That little spot there is rows and columns. Chase Rizek, it's got your initials backwards. Can you tell me if that's row what and column what?
Row 1, column 2.
Row 1, column 2. Then we're going to use those. What was row 1?
-2 and 5.
Yep. And then column 2?
-4 and x.
Good. Those right there. And then tell me what to do.
You multiply -2 by -4.
Which makes...
5x.
Okay, so that makes 8, and then 5x, and then what do you do? 8 plus 5x. There you go. That's how we're going to keep you from just doing everything on the calculator. All right. So if you were like, well, that's great, but I don't get how to do this one. Well, then figure out what it is. That's row 2, column 1, and use row 2 and column 1, just like that. You multiply the firsts, you multiply the seconds, you add them together. All right, this one's just an adds. Don't overthink it. This spot just adds to this spot. This is not a multiply problem. If it had been a multiply problem, though, are these 3 by 1s or 1 by 3s? 1 by 3, 1 by 3. Would I have been able to multiply them? No, because these don't match. You can't multiply those matrices. It's a good thing we're just adding them. All right. Now the next one, that looks like they're trying to ask me to multiply them. Well, I'd have to ask myself, can I even multiply them? And number 3 is a what by what. Alex, can you tell me? Is it 2 by 1 or 1 by 2?
Which one?
This one.
No, like which Alex?
Oh, sorry, you.
Okay. It's a 2 by 3.
Hold on. What's this? That is not a 2 by 3. Ah, that's a 2 by 1. And this other one? A 1 by 3. And will they multiply? And the answer will be a 2 by 3 matrix. Very good. Okay. And you should go ahead and finish that, everybody. These next couple are pretty easy till I get to number 5, and then I get this weird little -3 in the front. I hope you just know that means you multiply these together, and then you add them. Why multiply first? Because it's in the PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And multiply, it comes before add. All right. When we get down to here, and I hope these are all fairly simple. Maybe this one, number 7, let's talk about that for a second. What would you do to this matrix? A lot of people think, they get confused and they think it's a negative matrix, so I'm going to add it to both sides. No, that negative there, that negative is on the 5. So this is a positive matrix. You would want to subtract it from both sides. You'd want to subtract, and I'm not going to write it all the way out, and I wouldn't expect you to, but I'm going to subtract it from both sides. I'm going to put it on this side. And then I would want to combine these matrices together, and then I'd be thinking, this -5 here, I'm going to have to multiply with something to get rid of it. So after I did this subtract here, I would multiply by -1/5 to get rid of that -5. Because you can't divide matrices. All right. Do you remember how to find the inverse? Well, remember that on the test we decided you do not have to memorize 1 over the determinant times these two switch and these two become the opposite of what they are. I memorized it, but we're not going to make you do that. You're going to have to know how to do the inverse by saying, I'm going to enter that matrix on my calculator. This is matrix A. And if you don't know how to do that, you'd be stuck. But once you got it in your calculator, you just got to find the -1 power key, and it'll tell you what the inverse is. Moving on to number 9. You have to be able to make this into one of these deals where the numbers are here. Oops. The letters, X and Y, are here. And then the answers, these guys, are at the end. If you don't know how to do that, you can ask me. This one, number 10, what's tricky about it is that this one only has an X. It doesn't have an X and a Y and a Z. So you better line it up right. You would say it has an X, but it has 0 Ys and 0 Zs. Oh, X, a good point. Thank you. That 4Y should be brought over to the other side, so it would be a -4Y. You are correct. And what there's nothing there then? Then there's 0 on this side, and that's okay. All right, so you got to get them all lined up like that. And then this is the hardest kind of question. If you just go cheat and copy this off the answer key, good luck on Monday, because you better practice learning how to make these equations. That's probably the hardest thing. Your typical equation is like I have 3x's plus 4y's, and it equals a total of 412. And then you'll have another equation that's similar, and you try to line it up right underneath. What if I don't have any x's, but I have 8y's, and it equals 510? Then, once you get that set up, you can use matrices to solve it. All right, so you have a bunch of time today. You have me to ask if you need help. You have an answer key, and if you need extra help, please come up and get it, because I'm trusting you to work hard for the rest of the hour and ask the questions that you need help on. Instead of me keeping you busy to practice, you're going to get kind of more individualized help. That's all I got for you for today.